For those of you that know MBA, one of the things you know is that I'm a real estate developer. Our real estate company is called Afrimat Atlantic Limited, and we are currently building Solara Residence, a 6-story, 25-unit residential apartment in the heart of East Legon Hills. And so the other day, I stood at the very top of Solara Residence as the roofing sheets were being installed. We were nearing the final stages of construction, and so from that vantage point where I was standing on the top floor, I saw something that a lot of people never get to see. And as the roofing team worked, shout outs to Iridac. So the roofing for the apartment was done by a company called Iridac. And so as the team from Iridac worked, I noticed something very significant. The roofing sheets, that's the part where everyone will admire. The finishing, everyone will photograph. If the drone guys would come, that's the part where our clients were going to see the covering that completes the entire structure. But one of the things that actually caught my attention was that the roofing sheets were all being installed on wooden supports beneath them. These hidden wooden supports or these hidden structures are called roof members. So they are beam rafters sometimes or they are trusses. But in our case, it was a wooden support that we were using. And so what will actually happen is that by the time the roof is installed, the roof members become invisible to the untrained eye because it will be covered once the roof is done. But without them, the roof cannot stand. And right there, as the sun hits the metal sheets and the wind passed as I stood on the very, very top floor, through the wooden frames, a question just echoed in my spirit. I asked myself, who are the roof members in my life? Who are the roof members in my life? And today I want to ask you the very same question. Who are the roof members in your life? The people who hold up what others see when they look at you. I started asking myself, who are the people who support the weight of my public strength with their private sacrifices? Because there are people in my life who actually support the weight of my public strength. My public strength is what every single one of you who is listening in on this conversation know me for. But then there are people with private sacrifices that sustain that. I started asking myself, who keeps me standing silently, faithfully, without ever asking to be seen? Who are those people? We live in a world where people are so obsessed with visibility. We applaud oftentimes what's on top. We celebrate what's seen. We would typically do the drone shots and the photographs of the rooftop, but we rarely acknowledge the structure beneath it. But if you think about it very well, the deeper truth is that every visible success is standing on invincible sacrifices. If you are seeing Moses Biata as a visible success, standing out there and being celebrated by men, they are invincible sacrifices, both in the form of people and in other categories that actually helps me to stand. No roof actually holds without its roof members, and no life stands without people, known or unknown. The people who held it up when it could have literally fallen apart. And so today, on the Conversation of the Thought Become Things podcast, let's talk about roof members. Roof members. And like I always try to bring in scriptural inference, I was examining the life of Moses when he was being called by God. And if you look at Exodus chapter 17, verse 10 to 13, we see a very striking example of roof members. Joshua is in the valley fighting the Amalekites, but on the hill, Moses is holding up his hands. And as long as his hands were lifted, Israel won. And when they dropped, Israel began to lose. So for a little bit of prophetic significance, one of the ways by which you command victory for yourself, sometimes over situations, is not even to speak in tongues or, to fast or to pray. Sometimes it's just locking yourself in a room, lifting up worship unto God and lifting your hands up over that situation. And in principle, you are declaring victory for yourself. So if you think about it very well, the powerful thing about what Moses was doing was that Moses' hand grew tired. And when they did, there were two people who came actually beside him, Aaron and Hur. And when Aaron and Hur came beside him, they placed a stone under him and held up his arms, one on each side, until Israel won the battle over the Amalekites. Now, that's a picture of roof members right there. The roof members, they are not in the valley swinging swords like Joshua was in there. They are not the ones holding the rod like Moses. But without them, the victory would have been lost because Moses got tired. And remember that whenever his hands kept dropping, Israel began to lose. So in life, roof members are always not on stage. I recently, by the grace of God and a good team, filled the UPSA auditorium. And if you think about it, I was the guy standing on stage, but I had a formidable group of roof members who were making sure that transportation was happening, who were making sure the interviews were happening, who were making sure the pictures were happening, who were making sure the things that needed to be sorted out financially were being done. And I was just on stage delivering, and everybody is seeing Moses Biatha being projected, but they were not seeing the roof members. Roof members, they are not always celebrated, but they are very crucial to your success. They are the ones who believed in you when no one else did. They are the ones who cover you up in prayer. They are the ones who pick up the phone when you are breaking down. They are the ones who give you something when you have nothing. If you've heard my story about how I met Ubonking, there was a time in my life where as much as 500 Ghana cedis to enter a bus to go to Nigeria, I couldn't afford. But I had people who would sacrifice that for me. Roof members are those who served when no one was watching. They are those who correct you behind closed doors so that you will not collapse in public. You are blessed if you have people like that. Roof members, sometimes they come in the form of our mothers. They are the ones who intercede in the night. Sometimes they come in the form of our wives. They are the ones who intercede for us in the night. Sometimes they are the fathers who keep building when there's no applause. Typically, we would see Father's Day and men are not being celebrated. But one thing about fathers, they are always building and they never get the applause. Sometimes roof members, they are the mentors who see the cracks and they help us to fortify ourselves. Sometimes they are the friends who never repost you online, but they are always there offline for you. They are the unseen beams that carry the weight of our destinies. And so if you think about it very well, in architecture, you will know that the strength of any visible structure depends on the integrity of its hidden framework. In architecture, the strength of any visible structure depends on the integrity of its hidden framework. And so one of the things that in real estate we do is that we check the structural integrity of buildings. Those are the things that hold. And that principle in architecture applies to our lives. If your internal structure, which is your relationships, your character, your values, your mentors, if it is weak, then no matter how shiny the rooftop is, collapse is inevitable. There's a Japanese proverb that says, the bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists. But let me add to this, that the bamboo only bends because of the network of roots beneath it. A bamboo will not bend on its own, but because there's a net worth and there's a network of roots beneath it. What people call resilience is oftentimes rooted in relationships and is oftentimes rooted in what I call roof members. We were never designed to stand alone, and that is how come you and I are social beings. Even Jesus didn't stand alone. In his darkest hour at Gethsemane, he asked 3 disciples to watch and pray with him. And when he carried the cross, it was Simon of Cyrene who helped him carry the weight. And so even the Son of God had roof members. So today I want to ask you, if you're listening in on the conversation, who are your roof members? And just as important, whose roof are you also holding up? So who are your roof members and whose roof are you also holding up? And so I have roof members, but I'm also holding the roof up for some people, because life isn't just about being seen. It's also about holding others up in seasons when they are too tired to stand alone, because sometimes we give up, and it's very okay. Sometimes life is about the strength behind someone else's shine. The name no one hears, but the person that heaven knows and heaven acknowledges. Maybe you are a roof member right now. Maybe no one sees what you do. Maybe you are the one praying behind the scenes. Maybe you are the one giving the financial support. Maybe you are the one serving. Maybe you are the one loving. Maybe you are the one sacrificing. And you are wondering, does this even matter? Is this even worth it at all? Let me just remind you that God sees what man oftentimes forgets. Hebrews 6 verse 10 says, God is not unjust to forget your work and the labor and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people and continue to help them. So whether you are seen or hidden, your role matters. Whether your name is mentioned or not, your presence is carrying weight. If you come to Afrimat Atlantic, I look like I am the front, but I have my co-founder Oscar in there. I have our engineers Samuel and Gilbert in there. The whole group of unseen people that make what we do matter, that make everything carry the weight that people actually celebrate. And so if we will build communities, if we will build churches, if we will build businesses, if we will build homes with this understanding, that strength is not just found in what is visible, but in what holds it all up, we would actually give more honor to the things which are unseen. And so today on the conversation, I want to challenge you to take a pause. Yes, take a pause. Think about your life. Think about your growth. Think about your calling. Think about your business. Think about your ministry. Now look underneath the surface and then ask yourself, who prayed you into this season? Who corrected you with love when you were wrong? Who gave when they didn't have to? Who forgave you quietly and covered your weakness? Find them, thank them, honor them. And if you can't find anyone, become that for someone else. Because every roof needs members and every life needs support. At Solara Residence, when people drive by, they would actually see the roof and say, wow, what a finish. When we post the socials, when we post the roof on the socials, when we post the reels that we would put up on our platforms on YouTube, people will say, wow, what a roof. But I'll always remember the day I saw what was beneath it. As I stood there and they were roofing the building, I asked the roof members. I will never forget that what holds us up is often hidden, but it is never without value, because outside of those roof members, we would never have been able to roof that building. And so today, I pray, and it's my hearty desire as you listen to this content, that we will all learn to see deeper, that we will look beyond the shine, and we will honor the beams, the roof members, the men and the women, and the systems of advantages that keep us standing strong. Be blessed.
That is another episode down. Remember, dreams aren't wishes. They are seeds you have to plant, water, and nurture. Take today's golden nuggets of wisdom, sprinkle them with your hustle, and watch your garden of greatness bloom. Share your thoughts. Connect with MBA on all social media at The Moses Arthur. Don't forget to dream, dare, do, and remember, love and light are your superpowers. Until next time, go out there and turn those thoughts into things.